And hello, everyone. And there is no better way to come into the next episode of the Road to ECS than laughing. As you can see in all our faces, we just trying to catch the breath to get air back into our lungs. We have a very, very special and dear guest today with us. I'm coming to her in a second, but of course, I'm welcoming our co-host, Valdek and Mustafa, back to the show. And before I let her present herself, I'm going to say a few words. I think I met Luise on one of our first. No, I think first time I met her was in Mainz in 2018 in person, when she was an attendee for the European Collaboration Summit when we moved to Germany. And in Mainz, she did an awesome thing. She actually just took her surface and started painting and sketching and drawing what she saw in sessions, and she started tweeting it. At some point of time, those things are just popping out on my phone. I was like, this is awesome. So this is beyond awesome. In the next 12 months, I actually managed to get Luise a bit more through one event or another event. We saw each other in Bremen, had a longer conversation and everything. And as we all know, she's awesome, but it was becoming clear. And then in Bremen, I had idea. I was like, what about including Luise actually to be a part of the keynote? So she did that with Sharon. She did with Dan, and from that moment on, I think Luise did not skip a single ECS, even in the worst years. In the worst years, we know what this is about. From then to today, and today she's like basically in workshops, in keynotes, in sessions, she'll be in the expo, I'm sure, because I know that she's everywhere, and she's a friend. Luise, welcome.
Thank you so much, Adis. I am happy to be here. And yes, we've came a long way, and I still remember that.
It's almost impossible to imagine you as an attendee. I cannot. I'm old. My memory doesn't go that back far. Like you didn't speak. You just sat in a room and watched things. Like, when was it the last time?
Yes. So I did, and in fact, I very much enjoy attending conferences nowadays. So I intentionally do this from time to time. So not speaking, I'm not trying to just like wrangle demos, just like 30 minutes before a session. I do not need to be anywhere. I can just like come, join, and listen and learn and be there for the sessions and the hugs and the smiles as well, and all the selfies. But I find this attitude of lots of speakers, if I'm not speaking, I'm not going. I find this quite disturbing, to be honest. So yes, I like to be an attendee as well, as much as I like to be a speaker.
I mean, if there's one thing that strikes me about you, right, and like over the course of years, I think it's just like reinforcing that you never stop learning, right? So the mentality, like, and you're never, afraid of, like, nothing is either above or being beyond you. Like you originally, way back when, you didn't code, and then like, I'm gonna code, I'm gonna build an app, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. So like, I think over the course of years, you touched everything.
Yeah.
Like at least that's the way it comes across. So like at Microsoft, like, we talked a lot about the know-it-all versus the learn-it-all. To me, you are the learn-it-all. You learn it all, or you experimented with it all.
But sorry, Baltic, but who of us can assume that we know it all? We learned all day. It is completely astonishing what Luise did.
Well, I mean, there is the reasonable part versus the what we say we do versus what we actually do. And we know that there are some folks like, nah, I'm an expert. Look at me.
Yeah.
those are those that I'm mostly afraid of. But another one.
So there are only a few things where I really am an expert about, because I believe you can't be an expert in everything, because that would make you just like a non-expert in anything. But if I'm not an expert in something and still want to talk about it, I talk about how I learned that thing and what helps me grow in that thing, so that others just like can relate to that, and maybe it's easier for them as well. So I don't need to know it all. I'm just like adaptive and change, and I eat knowledge. So I for breakfast and lunch.
So how does your brain tick? How do you do that, in other words? How do you create room for the for being uncomfortable? Because like that's basically the way you feel when you learn something new. You make yourself uncomfortable, because then you kind of go through the trough of the despair, where you start like, oh, that's so cool, and then you try something like, oh my god, this is the hardest thing ever, and everything sucks, and the more you know, the more you realize you don't know, and it's just like, So how do you approach that? Any tips for the listeners?
Well, I guess with a little bit of bravery, because I'm no, it's just like, no, for real. It's just like, be brave enough to suck at something new. It is just like, so if I'm always just like stay where I'm just like super comfortable and I know everything and I can tell everyone out, just like, you talk like shit and I know everything, that is boring. So the excitement comes from uncertainty and risk and a little bit of bravery. And yeah, I'm not at risk at all, because I'm just like sitting very comfortable, just like in my home behind my chair. So there's no real exposure to risk. But yeah, I like to feel uncomfortable a little bit, at least. So there is no real danger in that.
This is awesome, but let's make a step back. This is I realize why this intro took so much of time, because each time I meet Luise, and that's unfortunately way too seldom, but we did manage to get some quality time in Salzburg the last year, right?
Yes,
this is always refreshing, because unfortunately all of us have like 20 things to attend to and 20 things to do, but at least once a year. And I think Salzburg could be one of those things where we can actually sit and talk normal, because when I'm in Düsseldorf, Cologne, I'm out. I mean, I'm there, but I'm not there. You know how those things go.
I know.
So I'm not really mentally present, except on this stuff needs to be done next. But how was Düsseldorf for you the last year, especially because what a lot of people don't know is your home city?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in, just like, I live in Düsseldorf, and I love the city for a variety of reasons. So what I loved about it is how people came together, just like from all over Europe and even further. And for me, especially, it is just like super, super easy, because I can literally walk home from the venue. So that is just like, and my running course is just like the park next to the venue. So that is very, very nice, obviously. But just like having so many friends from all over the world in my city, that was just like kind of special, although I had nothing to do with the organization of the event. So I was just a speaker, and I know it is also about the speakers, but I was just like so in awe, just like how many people came, and then of course made memories, not only at the venue, but just like also around it, and strolled in the city and did things. And even my kids said, yeah, there were just like people who wore t-shirts like you usually do.
That's
yeah,
awesome. But I would just like to tackle this just a speaker. I hope we try, at least that's our kind of North Star, is there's nobody is just a speaker, nobody is just an attendee. Obviously, few of us are deep into the daily doing all those things. But for example, one of the best things that happened to me personally now in Düsseldorf was that a good buddy of mine, who is a long time Microsoft veteran, who retired Microsoft Germany, Rainer, who is SharePoint legend in Germany, who wasn't even speaker last year. years before that, he was usually he would be speaking with Kimo or with Neil Hodgkinson or all the SharePoint Legends party of you know. And Rainer came to me like, you know, I'm retired now. I will be at every next conference you guys organize because I just love the people, love the community, love the vibe, love everything. If I can help you with anything with this conference, I'm not asking for any kind of you know where to find me. I will be happy to do that. I stood there looking at somebody whom we honestly and seriously can be calling SharePoint legend, saying how comfortable he feels, how much that means to him, and now that he is retired, he wants to help. That was one of my highlights from the last year. I don't know how do you guys, but this is when you say I was just a speaker. You were never just a speaker. Each time I came to Expo, I saw you there, Luise, talking to people, talking to dozens of people. So you were on the panels. You were. There isn't just a speaker. I just wouldn't go for that, if you know what I mean.
I do, in fact. So everyone is helpful, everyone is super supportive, and everyone pays it forward. So no one respects anything in return. And although I believe most of us believe in some kind of karma, that if you do good things, then good things will come back to you, just like, but not in a super transactional way, just like I do something good for you and then you owe me something, but just like more in the general scheme of things. But I love how everyone takes care of each other, and there's just like no competition or controversy or anything else, but just like we just like all stick together, and I love that.
Yeah,
that's the whole point of the community, right?
That's the
Everyone
whole
being together and supportive for each other.
back in the time there was a SharePoint ISV back who used to organize this competition of SharePoint influencers. God, that was the things I hated most about it. And Waldek knows this is Waldek and me go back.
I was an influencer.
You won.
Also,
few times.
nominated this year after year.
We all know how you won. We made you win, which is
Perfect.
We are very
I
proud.
appreciate that nonetheless.
But I was it was 10, 12 years ago. I in the process I learned how to shut up sometimes. In those years I was not shutting up all the time. I was really very vocal against everything because I don't think we need a competition. This is not a league. This is a community, which is important for me. Talking about caring about, as I said, I know Luise. I dare to call her my friend, somebody who I like and respect a lot. But I also follow what you write in LinkedIn because I'm not on Twitter anymore. I don't know if you are, but I know that I'm not spending my time on that anymore. But on LinkedIn,
Twitter doesn't exist anymore, and therefore I do not exist on Twitter anymore.
Perfectly legitimate. And for that little time I managed to spend on LinkedIn, I very often come to your posts, and sometimes I even find myself stupid if I just answer yes, I fully agree. So I just sometimes don't do it, even if I most of the time very much fully agree with what you said. And this is not always only about work. This is not always only about community. This is sometimes about just people, about society, about caring. And there's a lot of much caring you show around yourself, both in the professional and in private, obviously, environment. Can you tell us a little bit about Luise when she's not on the stage?
Luise not on the stage. Okay. Where shall I begin? So I think
you want.
most importantly, I'm just like very much a human being who has their flaws and their insecurities, just like as everyone else. And even though I'm just like super confident in my sessions, trust me, there is a little bit of right before I go on stage, and a little bit of, oh my God, will I make that? And will I just like catch the audience here as well? Furthermore, I'm a mother of 2 teenage dragons. So daughters, but also dragons. Yeah, it is pretty much the same, believe me. I try to raise them as strong and caring and empathetic and very smart women. And I'm just like very happy that they grew as much as they did and that they care as much about other people and our environment and society as a whole as I do. I'm an avid believer in doing good and talking about it. So I volunteer at the soup kitchen here in my home city. And also, I volunteer at a hospice. So I take care of people who are dying. And that is one of the most, it is a thing that makes me very grateful that I'm able to do this, and it gives so much back, and it helps people along the way as well in their hardest times. What I do is I love to bake. I love to eat healthy. I spend a lot of time in the kitchen making my own bread, making my own granola, making my own ginger shots, making everything just like from scratch. So I don't like to eat ultra processed food. And I realize it's just like easier to make this than to find that in the store. I love to be in nature. I love to go running and hiking and just like strolling through the city because, yes, I do not live on the countryside, but just like in the city. And I love to perceive art. So I spend a lot of time in museums.
That's,
Yeah, that is.
so-
Your day has significantly more hours than mine does.
Now he's just
I don't know how
complaining.
you do
He's
that.
just complaining again. That's-
No, I'm
Yes.
saying I don't know how she manages that. Her day must have more hours than mine does because, like that's you keep yourself very, very busy.
But then
Yes.
again, also on professional side, I know you and I have seen you moving from the not moving away, but moving along or moving through from SharePoint space to Power Platform space to obviously. I mean, it's a natural following. Then you need to deal with the Azure stuff, and I see you doing the Azure stuff for being Azure stuff. Obviously, we are living in the dawn of the age of AI because I just think it's a dawn. I mean, things are coming on the way. And as Waldek hinted in the very beginning, the space is moving, but you were somehow moving even faster than the space moving there. What is on a professional level now? What is it that you are mostly doing today? Is it still a Power Platform? Is it now more trusted advisory consulting on the other side? Is it tech work on the infrastructure Azure side? What is it a dev work, a standard dev? So what is that what you do
Yeah.
kind of
So,
the most of the time?
yeah. So mostly my work is at the intersection of Azure and Power Platform, which is just like a very, very sprinkle of M365 still in the mix. Just like, yeah, and can you now make it available in Teams? But that is about it. Which is still fine, and I love that to know how it works. But just like mostly it is in Azure and Power Platform. I'm mostly in an architect / trusted advisor role, and occasionally they ask me to implement these super tricky parts. But most of the time, I'm not in the lead for developing the applications.
Okay, that's
The hands-on work is usually done by an on-site team, and I'm just like supervising them or guiding them.
You said imagine you said the mother of two dragons. Believe me, I'm also a father of two dragons. It's just not boy and girl and girl, which means boy and girl. But I do share the passion for dragon training, even if training is a wrong word. It's basically dragon encouraging to go in
How
the
to
right.
tame a dragon?
Yeah, no, you cannot tame a dragon. But it is really it's and I had a conversation actually last weekend with a very dear friend also about raising the daughters, about being independent and everything, and the stuff you say. we have witnessed, and I always painfully see how this went down south in the past decades. We have witnessed the number of women and girls in the IT, the tech space, decreasing heavily for the past 50 years. And when I mean heavily, I mean heavily. I invite everyone to at least once go to the Museum of National Computing in Bletchley Park, where the Collab Days Bletchley Park happen, that our dear community friends in England organize, that we see a space that was actually dominated by women up until end of 70s, I would even dare to say, that being completely drained out in that part of the in the coming years. Now, this must come over as strange because you are talking to the three mid-age white guys here, but both ECS and Run Events are women-led companies. CEO of Run Events is Margit. For the ECS, most of the part in the background are doing two women who are rarely on those calls because they don't like cameras too much. It's Elena, it's Imela, especially Elena. There's a lot of stuff. Our head of sales is Zoe. Of course, Margit is also doing operations and stuff. And we are trying in our micro cosmoses, our micro universities, to have this. We are also trying with our speakers to do this. Sometimes we are doing better, sometimes we are doing worse or not so good. We also see a huge differences among our three conferences. And when I say huge differences, I mean like huge differences, where Collab and BizApps are doing well, better. I mean, I wouldn't say ideally, but I would say we don't suck in that regard. We see huge issues with Azure and cloud and AI space, which we are moving things now to make those things happen, but it is more difficult. And I know that's a topic which is also very dear to your heart. How is that from your perspective? Because you are not working for a huge consultancy where you would be somewhere a principal senior consultant, where you would come with, I don't know, like a background of whatever. You are Luise. You are coming as an M365 princess to a customer. You are for yourself. Yeah. And I can imagine that this is even more visible to you than maybe for the other women in tech who are part of the larger organizations.
Yeah, so usually I am the only one who is a woman in the room. Usually, maybe there is one other woman in the room when talking to a customer. Usually, she's not in the engineering team. Usually, she is there to just like organize the coffee, which is good as well for those who drink coffee. But I see the very same picture. And regarding conferences, so it is good, of course, that you have lots of women helping you to craft amazing conferences. And of course, they will advocate for other women. But more importantly, you need to get the guys to advocate for women. That is the most important thing. And to get more women in IT, we need to remove all the toxic guys from IT. And that is obviously true for every single industry that is male dominated. But if we tolerate harassment and jokes who aren't funny, then obviously women won't feel invited and will continue to leave the industry. And to be honest, we can't afford to lose all of that talent. So
My God,
for
no.
me and my personal life, and as you said, I'm not a huge company. I'm just like I'm independent. I'm just me. But obviously, sometimes I need to subcontract something, or I need to call a plumber for my home, or anything else. And whatever I hire, I exclusively hire women. And why is that? Because if a woman reaches the same level of recognition as a man, she needed to work twice as hard to reach that level of recognition. And therefore, likelihood that she will be better than the average guy that I would just like find firsthand, because he gets the exposure just like delivered, just like as his birthright. That would be pretty high. So, and maybe that is something that we can all learn from conferences as well. Just like when in doubt, pick the woman.
The worst part of what you just said is that you are right.
I know. I thought about that. So I never talk about things that I do not know.
I know.
But hey, I don't know this. Let's learn this together.
I know. Though they are, I mean, we had situation in our day job company in Run Events that in the dev tech team, we were pretty much half-half. And that what happened is that at some point of time, due to the maternity leaves and stuff, we stayed with only one woman developer in the team versus 6, 7, 8 men. That didn't last for too long. And then due to the transformations in our company, which usually mean Adis doesn't need to do everything, our new CPO is a woman, a very dear colleague that I know and I have worked for with 20 plus years now. And Anis, our developer, was like, thank you so much for hiring Vanya. You guys are all awesome. You guys are all great. We don't make stupid jokes. We don't make funny jokes. We are actually really nice. She was like, but it still sucked to be the only woman in the team. And it is a fair sentence. It is a sentence that I also need to take. Okay, this changed now because our two other colleagues are coming back now from the maternity and everything, so we'll pretty much be balanced again. But that 1 year where Anissa was actually, Mustafa, the only woman in our dev tech team, even if we are nice, even if we are, at least we think of ourselves to be very supportive and to be friends, it is strange. Somehow it's I don't know. So there are ways to change it.
So obviously, so if there is no representation, if you're always just like the only one in a group that does not feel good, even if the group is nice to you, you will just like always feel like as the outlier. And that can be about gender, that can be about race, that can be about your skill and kind of or anything else. So if you're just like the only one of a group, you will feel like, oh my God, that one is the strange one. That one does not belong. And therefore it is very important to just like have a good mixture of people, just like in every single regard. And I know that your conference does, or your conferences do a very, very good job in ensuring that we do not always see the very same people with the very same stories and who all look like the same on stage. But just to share an example, I just returned from a conference in Sweden that was a .NET focused developer conference. So that was just like really hardcore dev. And they had 41 speakers, 19 of which were women. So that is almost 50%.
That's good. That's really decent.
And there was no filler sessions or no, she's only here because, we need to bring in a woman. So there was no tokenization or anything like that. That was just like rock hard, solid, very, very good session.
We are also not doing that. What we try always is really to have women on the content teams. This is very important for us. And I think our ladies are doing and we have Martina, we have Barbara, we have Claire, we have Sandy. I mean, I think they're doing awesome work with with all of that, and I love all four of them. They're just awesome. And I see us moving also in the AI Azure cloud space. I see us doing better than the last year. But this is still, but I still know this is the field where we need to work on. Where much more work has to happen than in collab and BizApp space. We need to keep working collab and BizApp space too, because we don't want to rebound back, because this would also not be a ideal situation. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, I think I had what you mentioned in the introduction, conversation with LinkedIn conversations with Luisa with her statuses, and I think I commented one of those exactly on this topic, that the state community depends, and some are more open to diversity and including everyone and so on. I think from Microsoft 365 side and Power Platform, which kind of is very connected to that one. A lot of people are
in
both
both
right?
communities. That's
And
true.
then when we open the Azure side of the community, and included that side of content on ECS as well, it was a big struggle, because in the community in general, there are only a few women involved, and
Yeah,
women
but
are,
we see, you
and
can see back to the
it's a
question mark.
challenge from all community. It's up to entire community to work on that. It's everyone's responsibility. We cannot say just it is what it is. We need to try to do as much as possible and not make it a boys' club anymore.
Anyway, moving towards kind of the last part of what we are talking is ECS 2026. 200 plus sessions. Everybody can find something for them if they're coming from Microsoft Space. Panels, expo villages, it we will again try to make it fun. We will again try to make it welcoming. Really want people to feel welcome there. But there's one thing: it's in Cologne, and I know what people from Düsseldorf think of Cologne, and that's not good. I know.
Well, so you might be mistaken, because yes, there is this narrative that people from Cologne and Düsseldorf do not like each other, but the root of that narrative stems from just like 2 generations ago. So we're all literally too young to so we are too young, can you imagine that, to
Yes.
engage in that furthermore, because so if people are interested, so after World War II, North Rhine-Westphalia, so which is the state where both cities are in, needed a new capital, because all the states have capitals in Germany, and it would have needed to be Cologne because it is the oldest city and it is big and so everything. But unfortunately, due to the bombs, it was totally destroyed and it had no infrastructure to serve as the capital for North Rhine-Westphalia. And therefore, this tiny, tiny little city, Düsseldorf, became the capital. And that brought money and a lot of commerce and just like, yeah, richness to Düsseldorf, and Cologne people dislike that.
But I like to play with prejudices, and this is actually the true story, because I have seen photos of Cologne after World War II. Basically, the cathedral was the only thing that remained pretty much around. Everything else was just.
It's a beautiful cathedral, and for everyone visiting Cologne for the conference, so please take 2 hours. So when you arrive by train, just like
do you know where the conference part is going? We still didn't announce it. Mustafa, are we doing the announcement now?
Let's do an announcement. Let's do an announcement.
Drum roll. Just across the cathedral, Martezal. Legendary venue.
Ooh, nice. So
10 meters from cathedral. 10 meters from cathedral.
Yes.
If we were closer to the cathedral, we would be inside the cathedral.
3 bands. 3 bands.
Nice.
But I'm totally doing now announcement, so doesn't matter. The first band, which is going to play only one song, is ECS band. Was it a good or a bad
Guitars in the background.
That is only one song. So why is it just one?
Look. The reason we didn't do it until now, we were lacking a keys player, and we were lacking the drummer. Now we have Thomas on the keys, who is really good, and we have got Matt on the drums, Matt Byton from Lightning Tools, and we have Margit on cello, Mustafa on bass, me on guitar. This is going to be fun.
The vocals.
Anto, the guy who is organizing
Really?
the background. Yeah, Anto in his
Anto actually has a metal band, so
Anto in the night in his title, Anto has got a death metal band and a really good.
Really?
Yes.
The things I learned. There you go. He never
I
mentioned
did not know that.
And I actually
we need the name and the link to music streaming
Anto
service.
for the first time in person on the concert of his band. So there's that. And then we have been in Cologne visiting the venue. We went, since I do have a thing for jazz. I know I'm weird, so this is one of the weird things I do is I love jazz. We have been
Which type? Which type?
Pretty much everything. Give me even free jazz, I will be fine with it. Maybe not for 24 hours a day, but I will do that. We have been to Papa Joe's, which is kind of, if you love jazz, you need to, I mean, that's the cult place in Cologne. And there was a band, there was a trio on the stage. 3 of them cumulative number of years of age, I would say around 250. I am not over exaggerating. They were all
basically
over
2 people and you, right?
They were all over 80. They were awesome. The level of awesomeness is, you couldn't even measure the level of awesomeness. So
it doesn't really say anything except maybe for experience, but even then.
Of course, this is exactly. So you need to imagine this, Valdek. So this was a trio. They didn't have a bass player. So what the keys player did, he played bass with the pedals.
Of course.
To the level that you wouldn't notice that there is no bass. At some point of time, he just started making it artistic, putting one of his foot on the keys and playing with the right foot bass and with the left foot keys.
I wonder if that person in their free time doesn't play like the what's the name for it? The church keys, like there's a big thing where like there's like 5 keyboards and you also play with your feet and there's like things to pull on and you're like, holy, like
immediately that very night we invited them to the party. They decided that they would come. And then we have got our opera house band, our house band with awesome Jenny and Nixon on the vocals and saxophone as the main attraction. So Vartezal, Cologne, this is going to be awesome, people.
If there's one thing you don't want to miss, is that thing.
Well, I would hope that you look. I had this issue with Lee when we were talking about the whole conference. What did you like on the conference? And now Lee is my friend, and everybody for Lee, computer intelligence.
We didn't mention computer intelligence. Okay,
I asked him, what did you like the most about ECS 1025? He was like, oh, dude, the registration process. It was so easy. You come with your badge and you go with your QR code and you get badged in 10 seconds. Okay, Lee, out of the whole conference, you tell me that you like the registration process. No, everything else was good as well. But
like it only shows like the bar is so high, like everything, like good talks, table stakes. Talks, expo, table stakes. Like organizing an event with bad, content, piece to it is like, seriously, like, are you even organizing an event where those things are bad? So I think it's in a way, maybe in an awkward way, a compliment. Like that solid, of course, like, great speakers, great people, great everything. That thing, like if you get to the level that you can optimize things like check-in because everything else is good, I think that only proves like how far you've come. But
Valdek, you know that I just love to troll Lee because he's my friend. I can do that. He's my friend. We love Lee. Everybody loves Lee. And yes, there's going to be party. And in Vartezal, and I think Mustafa and me have been there, 3-4 weeks ago. And it's really, I mean, the venue checks, the party checks, there will be 3 bands, including us. So please don't throw any kind of tomatoes or whatever, or eggs, spoiled eggs or whatever on us. We will suck, but it will be only for one song. We promise.
I was thinking
Yeah,
tomatoes.
this was
Bring
big
stuff.
This time, don't
Throwables.
throw tomatoes.
Bring throwables.
Oh, and one thing I just want to circle back because I noted to myself when you said we are not God given to be on the stage, and we really are not. And we started one thing that it came to me from two different sides during during the Cologne during the Düsseldorf event. I was approached by Kimo and by Paolo, who are both in Microsoft now. Kimo was in Microsoft. Paolo is now in the meantime also. He's like, we need young people. We need much more young people. So we started a program of coaching / mentoring / really young people to bring them to the stage in Cologne. And we have separate call for content for them. Quite some of them applied. I was hoping for a bit more, but so we have selected 3. We have a young boy from Bosnia who is 17, who has all possible Microsoft certificates, which is like how awesome is this?
Well,
Like,
I would
just so
say
awesome.
that is a young man, not a young boy. 17, like,
Yeah,
dude.
okay, but you know what I mean. I mean,
Yeah, testament to the experience.
yes, and 2 more people, which we are going to send. We have Lee, we have Kimo, and we have Thomas. I think 3 of them are coaching and mentoring them, and this is really, and Ahmad. Ahmad will be coaching, mentoring. Then I feel his own. But I will also circling back to Luise said, if I'm not speaking, I'm not going to be there. I remember one of the Collab Days Belgium's event when Thomas, when he was running it, called me like, sorry, you didn't get session this year. I was like, can I attend? And he was, of course, you are always welcome. I just want to call you for a session. Like, you never need to explain to me why I didn't get a session. Never, ever. That's normal thing ever. I mean, and we are talking to Thomas, who is one of my closest friends in life. I mean, so it's, Anyway, this really, I think, was an important message, Luise, what you said, which I did not want to somehow drown in all of this. Should we do nice thank you rounds for this? We are already over the time, but we don't care. We just don't.
Time flies in good company. So
we will leave to Anto not to cut out anything. Right, Anto? He's in the background. He's smiling in the background.
You can always choose to play this show on 1.5 point speed. So.
Yeah, that's only for 2 young people. I'm not doing that kind of. I somehow feel that to be a bit unrespectful. I don't know.
Okay. Do you think they know? Do you think they know when you play their show?
They know, but I somehow feel they might know.
It conveys.
I mean, how could they know? That's just me.
You meet them next time in real life, and you're like, I thought you spoke faster.
Why are you talking so slow?
I'm processing faster. Come on.
And this is why I love those people. And this is exactly why I love those people. Luise, see you latest in May. I don't think we will cross paths before, but latest in May, at least for a short hug, because craziness. Yeah, but I just got email. I just got email from our dear friend Toby that I'm accepted for the Infinity. So probably we'll have some quality time in Austria again, talking. Infinity is a really nice. Let us make a also commercial for our friends. A small, nice, very cozy Microsoft 365 event in Salzburg in Austria, German speaking. So if you are, this is very much a recommended thingy. See you in May, and see you in June. Then after that,
love that.
Waldek, Mustafa, my friends,
we will be back.
We'll be back. Who can do the voice? I'll be back.
I'll be back.
The worst is over.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And until the next time.
See you, folks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Luise.